What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link also in the link in the description box. They asked me to put it up. I put it up. This video, though, is entitled Pretending We Know It All. One of the problems I think we having, and I was going to hang out a little bit with Obsidian last night, and he said, a lot of us are incompetent. And I think he's right. I mean, because a lot of us, can pretend we know it all. The difference between this era, this time, and the technological age is because the information is at our fingertips, we can pretend we know what we're doing, but we don't necessarily put in the work to actually master something that we're doing. So what winds up happening is a lot of us don't want to admit that we're not as savvy as we pretend to be. Some of us, we have this facade of we all got it together when we don't. And partially, I gotta say, even in my own life, a lot of that comes from bad parenting or uninformed parenting, because our parents did not understand the American economy or a global economy, international. Like, there's a lot that we didn't know that, to me, even in American culture, we have a fake it till you make it culture. And that's because what winds up happening is if you pretend well enough, people think you know stuff, or people let you slide pretending that you know stuff that you don't know. So it gets interesting, it gets very, very interesting. And I kind of think about this in a different way, because part of the fear of working together and working in businesses is that we're pretending that we know business when we don't. And it's a fear of making a bad decision that we'll take a loss that may take a while to recover from, because we don't have the amount of business savvy people or mentors at a lower level in life that we have in the upper level of life. It's a lot of people who just try to tell you deep intellectual, principles, but they never actually put them into practical application themselves. So they're not really talking from experience, and they probably aren't plugged into the people who can talk from experience anymore. So thus this facade, when it comes to being able to adjust from childhood life to an adult life, we're pretending we know what we're doing, because if you talk to most people, your parents really never told you to read contracts or to understand contracts. So, just in the basic level, a lot of us, you don't even know what your lease says on your apartment. You don't know what your credit card that you agreed to actually says in the fine print. You don't know what your car payment says. Everybody just knows I signed a piece of paper and this is how much I got to pay a month. You never even looked at the penalties or the loopholes or anything. Same thing when it comes to like mortgages. Like you didn't, we don't know the calculations that it takes, because a lot of times when people talk about business and real estate, you get lost. Like I get lost. I mean, sometimes, I got to sometimes, and the crazy part is a lot of us don't have the humility to say, I just need to sit here and shut up and listen, because I need to soak in what's going on around me, because right now it's over my head. I need to listen to what these people are saying so I can go home and learn this stuff, because I can tell that I'm definitely behind these people. Like, a lot of us have an issue being the dumbest person in the room. It makes us feel some type of way. And I think that's a bad thing. Because there are people that you may feel like you're smarter than in life, but you know, you're remedial to them in business. And that's a fact. You know, that's a fact. Like, it's when some people, I listen to people, man. I really do. And some people have more guts than some of us. Because some people just hopped and made moves because they believed in themselves and they knew they were going to take losses. But they were willing to do it because they committed to a certain path. And a lot of us are pretending we know everything, and we're hiding behind, oh, I'm smart enough to protect myself from the failures, when truth be told, you're just scary. You know, you're literally scared to death. And the fact that you didn't attempt to take a risk, and you didn't fail because you didn't attempt to take a risk, looks a whole lot better to you in the short term of somebody who took a risk and they failed, but then that they learned from that failure and became more successful than you. Because a lot of times, you know, people want to show up for the successes, but there's probably going to be a period of failure along the way, because you're not going to get a sweet deal all the time in the beginning. That works for some people. That doesn't work for most, you know. The same thing happens when we talk about the community and the men and the women getting along. A lot of this is people pretending that they got all the answers and they don't. Well, I'm right and you're wrong, but truth be told, you know, you're just scared. You know, you're scared. You're scared of being vulnerable enough to have to be wrong. And, you know, scared money don't make money. And if you're scared, say you're scared. And I gotta go in this part where we pretending we know it all. Sometimes I've noticed that people pretend that they know it all, and they pretend they know you and what you're thinking and where you're coming from and where you're about to go, and they don't know what they're talking about. But as long as they put out that they know what they're talking about, and what they're pretending that they're right and you're wrong, they feel right. They feel empowered by being arrogantly wrong. But you don't have to, as long as it's over the internet, you don't have to provide any proof for information. You don't have to provide an argument. You don't have to go one-on-one with that person and see if you actually knew what you were talking about, because you were pretending you knew, but in actuality you didn't. But this pretending that you know it all is not a good look, because the pretending is what's keeping us from succeeding to a degree in certain things. Because at the end of the day, what's going on is, you know, what's going on at the end of the day, is our fantasy mindset hits the wall. Because at some point, you're going to have to do something. You know, the rubber's going to meet the road. You're going to have a do or die moment, a sink or swim moment. And you pretending that you know it all is going to actually be put to the test. And a lot of us fail at that because, you know, we can't admit that we're not experts on some of the things that we're talking about. And some of us, you know, I understand, you know, me personally, I don't have the luxury to be to fail time and time again, because it costs me too much, right? But that doesn't mean I'm not going to attempt to do something. You know, if I attempt to do something and it fails and it costs me, it's just going to take me longer to re-up to try something else. And you know, part of pretending we know everything is that we pretend that we don't need somebody to walk us through. There's some things I have no idea about. So as a grown man, I don't necessarily want somebody to hold my hand, but I'm gonna be humble enough to tell them, look, you might, You might have to walk me through this because I don't know this whatsoever. I might pick up a principle and be able to build on that here and there, and then I go from knowing absolutely nothing to knowing 50% just like that. But at the beginning, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, this is the thing that we got to deal with though, because some of us are comfortable being ignorant because we live in a society where you can capitalize off of speculation. And, you know, if you understand speculation, you know, part of that is, you know, people just gravitating to something just by feeling and not by fact. So you can predict human behavior because most human beings pretend they know what they're talking about. And if you market something well enough, everybody jumps on the bandwagon, even if they're dead wrong, and it drives up the value of something, just speculation alone. This is why, you know, you go to fast food joints because their food is faster, but, you know, but sometimes you say their food is better than this person's food, right? That's home cooked, but it's really not. But it's just because it's fast and it's been marketed to you is great. And because it's marketed to you is great, for some odd reason it tastes better than the food that took all day to cook and is much healthier for you. But guess what? You know, you want to say this tastes better because I went through because they had a drive-through and they went through and I got my food in 3 minutes or less. Oh, that tastes spectacular. But because you think like that, you never learned how to make the food that's home cooked that everybody loves more. This is why days like Thanksgiving are so valuable now, because you don't get these home cooked meals on a regular basis anymore. And at some point, we're getting so lazy in society, they're starting to outsource family holidays, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You can buy a turkey from here that's cooked. You know, you can buy a fried turkey. You can buy your macaroni and cheese. You can buy your stuffing. You can buy everything you could buy. You don't even have to cook it anymore. Because, you know, we're pretending that we know it all because we have ways to cover up not knowing anything. So, I'm done. I know I made more videos than I thought I was going to do today. So we out. Peace.